welcome again to Elevating Your Life. Thank you so much for joining us today. I have a fantastic guest to share with you. We have with us today Joanne DiMaggio. She has been professionally pursuing past life research and therapy and soul writing for nearly 40 years. She has been actively involved with Edgar Cayce's Association for Research and Enlightenment since 1987. She earned her master's in Transpersonal Studies degree and her spiritual mentor certification through Atlantic University. She is the author of 7 books and has had numerous articles published. In addition, Joanne has been a guest speaker at many conferences, giving talks on the subject of past life exploration, the pre-life planning session, and soul writing to global audiences. She also has been a popular guest on nearly 100 radio programs and podcasts. She conducts private past life and soul writing sessions via Zoom. And today we're talking about her latest book, Soul Writing, Conversations with Your Higher Self. I just loved it, Joanne, and welcome to the show.
Thanks, Paula. Thanks for the invitation. I appreciate it.
Oh, you are so welcome. Well, first off, for those not familiar, what is soul writing and what prompted you to become interested in that?
Well, the easiest way for me to describe soul writing is it's a written form of meditation. So if you think of prayer as you talking to God and meditation is God talking to you, then soul writing is you taking notes. And so it's writing in an altered state of consciousness in which you're able to access the divine within and ask any questions that are on your mind and that your soul yearns to know.
I love it. I love it. So what triggered you to be interested in that and study that?
Well, I stumbled upon it when I was about 9 years old, believe it or not. Uh, and I didn't know what it was. I was saying a prayer and asking for a secret code that I wanted to leave little messages around the house that my parents couldn't read. And I got these letters that came to me. And later I found out that it was the Phoenician alphabet. And so I thought, where did this come from? I was only 9 years old. And then when I was in college, it came up again because I majored in history. And whenever we had to do an essay, I would say this little prayer, ask for help in the writing, and then the writing would proceed. So later on, I stumbled on it again, like right around 1987, when Shirley MacLaine's Out on a Limb was made into a mini series. And when I went back to get my master's degree, I decided I would make. I didn't know what it was called back then. Back then, it was called automatic writing, or Edgar Cayce called it inspirational writing. And I thought I'm going to do a deep dive into this. I want to learn more about it. So when I was working on my master's degree, that's when I started to do all of my research into it. And after I graduated, the book actually that you have, the first version of that book was my thesis. And so after that, I started to incorporate it into my work, especially with my past life regressions work. We would do the soul writing at the end, and that would really give them a little bit more detail. So
Yeah.
it's been a journey, and one that I'm really humbled to have taken.
Yes. And I love something in your book where you mentioned one time you were thinking of your grandmother,
Yeah,
and then you took a breath and you smelled her perfume.
right, right.
That was so amazing. And I have, in my lifetime, I've thought of loved ones that are gone, and it's like I feel them. I feel them around me. And when I
Mhm.
was writing my Why Am I So Happy book, I mean, it's like things would just come to me to put in my book.
Right.
And I so believe that is the angels and guides and loved ones. And so those are a big part, would you say, of soul writing?
Right. That when I wrote about my grandmother, that was in the chapter about how to develop your psychic abilities using soul writing, because you can use soul writing for a lot of different purposes. But some people who, they may have a real natural born ability to do things in the psychic realm. The soul writing can really help them, learning how to do auras or communicating with someone on the other side, because it is a form of channeling. So it really will get you in a lot deeper. And that's just one of the ways that it worked for me.
Yes. And so really it's something anyone can do. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
hear that. What made the first steps and how also is it different from automatic writing? Share
Oh, yeah.
and maybe some steps that someone listening right now that was like, oh my gosh, I, I've never heard of soul writing. I want to do it.
Yeah.
What would you say to them, Joanne?
Well, I would say that most people know the term automatic writing, and I have a lot of people say to me, "Oh, I do automatic writing," and that's what I thought it was called when I first started doing it. And then the more research that I did, I realized that they weren't the same thing at all, and that I really try to tell people don't go into automatic writing. It has too many negative energies attached to it. So the difference really between the two of them is your soul writing is going to come from within, whereas automatic writing is coming from an outside source. With soul writing, you always use a meditation. You always say a prayer of protection, surround yourself with white light. Automatic writing, people generally don't do that. With soul writing, your handwriting is the same. With automatic writing, it changes. With soul writing, you just watch, you have total awareness of what you're writing. With automatic writing, you don't. There's a whole list in the book about the differences between them. And I really
Mhm.
encourage people to understand the difference because the A.R.E., which Edgar Cayce had founded, they have a lot of case studies of people who did automatic writing and got into trouble uh, with um, with outside spirits. They're really afraid of possession with automatic writing. So you really have to be careful to say that prayer of protection, surround yourself with white light, and say, and then start to do the writing. And you could ask any question of the universe. That's what I love about it. Any question at all. And it's available to you 24/7. You don't have to go through a middleman because we've all been assigned a guide who's there to give us help while we're on the earth. And the soul writing really helps you to do that. And you could use it for guidance on topics, going deeper into esoteric studies. You could use it for artistic endeavors. You can use it for psychoanalysis and healing, for your soul's growth. I use it a lot for past life exploration, but it just has so many different applications that you could use it for. It's a very valuable tool in your toolbox of transformative ideas.
And so the soul writing, it doesn't come from what's around us. It is coming from what's inside us and what we're feeling.
Right. A lot of people will say, well, who's doing the writing? Because this doesn't sound at all like me. I get that all the time because it's true. It doesn't sound like the way you would write in a conscious state. So I'm a writer by profession, and I used to be a reporter, and I used to write for advertising agencies and public relations and doing brochures and newsletters and stuff like that. When I use the soul writing, it's completely different. The tone is different. The information I get is different. It's at a much higher level. And it's really a source of great comfort because I know that I'm not alone, that I have guidance that's with me 24/7. So it's a beautiful, beautiful tool. And like I said, you can ask any question that you want, anything you're wondering about. You could just ask and spirit will provide the answer.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And you mentioned about penmanship. So with soul writing, our penmanship stays the same, but with
Yes.
automatic, it can change.
It can change, right? One time I got into trouble. I got a little cocky and I decided to skip some of the steps that I tell everybody else to do. And I thought, I don't need protection. I don't need to say the prayer. I've said it so many times, and I skipped that. And when I went to go do the writing got very small, and it started going up at an angle. And I'm like, what? And I could feel the difference in my arm. The energy in my arm was completely different. And I was going like this to try to get it to go away. And so then I realized, oh, I'm with the wrong folks. I've got to go back and say my prayers, surround myself with the white light. And when I did that, then it went back to being my writing again. That's a big clue. The other big clue is with the soul writing, you're getting messages from the like the collective consciousness. So it's all we. We are with you always in love and in light. Whereas with automatic writing, it's often I. So it's more the ego-based message, and it impels you to do something or commands you to do something. Whereas with soul writing, it just gently nudges you, into a certain direction or certain decision. It doesn't tell you what to do. It doesn't use four-letter words on you. It's very gentle and loving. You just feel like you're being hugged by spirit. It's just a wonderful feeling.
Isn't that so awesome? So awesome.
Yeah.
And there's many, many tools, aren't there, with soul writing that you can do? Like you can ask questions, you can ask for guidance. Give us some examples there.
Well, for example, with past life exploration, when I do a regression with someone, that's usually about 90 minutes to 2 hours. At the end of that time, they may still have questions. They may not have gotten the backstory, or they'll say to me, well, this is all well and good, but what am I supposed to do with this information? How do I apply it to my current life? The soul writing will give you all of that. It'll also enable you to have a conversation with your past life aspect, so who you were before. And I found out about that through a book that was written by Frank DeMarco called Chasing Smallwood, in which he had a conversation with Joseph Smallwood, who was a past life of Frank's during the Civil War. It's absolutely fascinating to do that because you get a firsthand um, uh, conversation about that particular time period. But I use it mostly for soul's growth issues, or for psychoanalysis. A lot of people use it for healing. I did a whole research project on people that had chronic illnesses. We did a regression to find out what was the origination of the chronic illness from a past life, and then they did the soul writing to help them understand it even more. So I've got a lot of examples of those in the book of how the soul writing can be used as a tool for healing. So it's got a lot of different ways that you can use it.
So, with using it as a tool for healing, are you asking questions about your health and receiving answers?
Well, usually if you do a regression first, usually you go right to the source. For instance, I had a woman who had head to toe psoriasis, and she wanted to know, where did this come from? Because she wasn't getting any answers in her here and now. We did a regression. She went back to being a call girl in the Old West. And when I asked her, what were your last thoughts when you died? She said, I don't want to be touched anymore. So that last thought, which is very powerful, initiated that in this lifetime she developed a skin disease in which nobody wants to touch her. So she got her wish. You got to be careful of those last things you
Oh
think.
my
Yeah,
gosh.
so a lot of times the soul writing will go into more detail about that. Or I had another man who had arthritis only in his thumbs and came to find out that in a past life he was during the Civil War. He was a Confederate soldier, cavalryman, and he would deliberately aim to with his sword to cut off the thumbs of the Union cavalrymen because he didn't want to kill them, but he didn't want them to be able to hold a sword or to have a gun. So in this life, he's got arthritis in his thumbs, and that really helps you to understand the why and the reason for what's going on in your life now. That's what makes it so valuable because a lot of people will have an aha moment from that. Because a lot of people will say to me, "Oh, I've had this question for years. It's been on my mind. I haven't had an answer." They do the soul writing, they get the answer, they apply it to their life, and that's it. It's gone. It disappears. I had a lot of people had spontaneous healings in my research group on chronic illness. Karma, it's in my book, Karma Can Be a Real Pain. And so I had about a 35% spontaneous healing just by finding out the origination of the issue that they were dealing with. And they found that out through a regression and then through the soul writing.
Joanne, I can only imagine what it's been like for you in helping others and helping them discover these things and then heal and just so much changes in their life. What's that been like for you to be a tool of kindness in helping others do this?
Well, it's been very humbling, Paula. I really uh, sometimes I'll say to myself, "And why am I doing this again?" And then someone will say to me how it changed their life, whether it's in a small way or a big way, doesn't matter. So the fact that the little time that we spent together, or maybe they picked up the book. I had one woman who was diagnosed with breast cancer, and she told me that a friend of hers recommended the book to her. And she said she read it and that opened her up to her spiritual side, which she hadn't been pursuing that part of her. And she really credits that for her healing. So another woman had she used to get nightmares all the time, and she thought she had died uh, in the death camps during World War II, and that wasn't the case. We found that out with the regression and then the soul writing. And her husband came to me afterwards, and he said, and this woman was in her 70s. She was a psychiatric nurse, and he came when I had a book signing, and he said he had tears in his eyes. He said, "You have no idea. My wife has not had a single nightmare or night terror since she worked with you." So like I said, it's extremely humbling for me. I don't always know how I'm impacting someone. I feel like I'm a conduit for spirit. It's like I'm a reporter for the universe. I do my research, I share it, and hope that that will make lives better.
I love that, a reporter for the universe.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Take a minute to share your website and kind of how someone could, you know, do a one-on-one with you and other things that you offer.
Okay, my website is my name, joannedimaggio.com. It's JoanneDimaggio.com. And if you go on there, all of my books are there. They give you a thumbnail sketch of each book if you're interested. I also have my services, which includes a past life regression or a private soul writing session. And you can sign up for them right online. I have an online calendar, and you can go ahead and book that. I do everything on Zoom now, so that it doesn't matter where in the world you are. I work with people all over the planet. And then also you can sign up for my newsletter. I do a monthly newsletter, and that tells people the new research projects I'm working on, whether they'd like to volunteer, they're welcome to do that. If I'm going to have any speaking engagements, I'm going to be teaching soul writing, as a matter of fact, this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for the A.R.E. It's going to be a Zoom only program. It's a real 3-day intensive. It's from 9 to 5, but you get a certificate of completion. So if anybody's interested in that, you could go to edgarcayce.org and go under events, and you'll see that. So that's how to get in touch with me. And I answer all my emails. Anybody wants to send me an email, it's joanne@joannedimaggio.com.
I love it. I love it. And have you known of any like famous people that have used this process?
I don't know. Oh, I don't know personally of them, but I know when I did my research that a lot of famous writers and composers have used it. I was president, this is going to show my age. I was president of a Beatles fan club back in the 60s. And so I did a book. I looked into, my question was, how could a girl living on the south side of Chicago who was a Beatles fan become a past life researcher? That didn't make any sense to me because nothing in my life would lead me. I thought, what if the Beatles had something to do with that? So I really I did a lot of research on the spiritual aspect. Did the Beatles plant the seed of spirituality in us, in my generation? going forward. And so that was basically what the whole book was about. But in doing that research, I discovered that both John Lennon and Paul McCartney used a form of soul writing. They didn't know what it was called. They were just describing their process. And the process that they used is very much the same process that we use for soul writing. Either that the information comes to you in a dream, or it comes to you when you're, sort of in that hazy, altered state, maybe in meditation, or just in a quiet time when, you can hear better what spirit's trying to convey to you. Um, Paul Simon of Simon and Garfunkel used almost the same kind of process with some of his work. And then famous writers, I have a quote from Stephen King in there about using that kind of process. And like I said, they didn't call it soul writing, they didn't know about soul writing, but when they talked about what inspiration was to them, it was the exact same. They accessed it the exact same way that we access soul writing. So there's, famous composers from the past, Mozart, Beethoven, Tchaikovsky, famous writers, Keats, a lot of them there. I've listed all of them in the book. It's all like everybody trying to capture, well, what is inspiration? Where does this come from?
Mhm.
And that's really what soul writing is. It's putting the inspiration you're getting from above, coming through you, through your soul, out your hand and onto the paper.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And you mentioned dreams. So will soul writing, can we receive messages or inspiration through our dreams
You
from soul
can,
writing?
and then, yeah, and also what you can do with it as well is you can ask through soul writing to interpret the dream that you had, because I think that's the hardest part for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
You have a dream, you don't have a clue what it's about. I have a hard time remembering my dreams.
That's
But
me.
what you can do though is you say, okay, Spirit, I had this dream last night, blah blah blah. Can you explain it to me, or can you give me the deeper meaning, or what am I supposed to do with this? And you can get an answer in soul writing. So, like I said, it can be used for just about anything and any age group. I just that new version of soul writing book that you have has a chapter in there on soul writing for children.
Yeah.
How to teach children. I have young grandchildren. I haven't tried it out on them yet. I'm not sure that they're up for it, but uh, but there is a chapter on that. And another new chapter in the book is on soul writing for practitioners. That are in the alternative healing arts and how they can use soul writing in their practice. So so there's, like I said, there's just a lot of different uses for it. And I also came out with a journal to accompany the book. So if somebody wants to get that with the book, that would be a great gift for somebody. Because the journal it's a hardcover journal and it has quotes from the book strewn throughout. So that would help you to really get into the frame of mind of the inspired writing.
So that is something we can get. It's going to have some quotes and we just use that for our soul writing. What a great idea.
Yeah, here it is, Paul. I have it right here. I don't know if you can see
Oh, I
that. See,
love
it has
it.
the same cover, but it says journal, and then it's a
Yeah.
hardcover, and then there's pages in here with the actual different quotes to just to inspire you to and to stick with it. I think at first people when they start doing the soul writing, they may get frustrated because they're not getting anything. So I tell them to start with making an E or an L. Just make ovals with your hand to get it moving. And sometimes they'll get a word, sometimes a phrase, sometimes they'll get a whole sentence. And then after a while, the more you do it, the better you get at it, and you'll get whole paragraphs. Uh, so it's something anybody can do. I think people that are very analytical have a little bit more problem with it because they want to control everything that they're doing,
Mhm, mhm.
and they don't want to let go. And you do have to trust, and you do have to let go for this to work. So yeah, but you need just to practice. But anyone can do it. It's not. There's no secret in the universe. God gave this to us as a tool. I always say put it in our backpack when we came to Earth to the Earth School. We
Yeah.
just have to pull it out and the little 24/7 call home card. That's what I call it. So it's there for all of us.
And I'm one that I believe we get messages all the time, like, I've been driving down the road before and there's a cloud that looks like an angel,
Oh yeah. Oh
you
yeah,
know?
absolutely.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that is just, Cayce,
After
I love you. Yeah.
after a while, you can actually start to hear the messages.
Hmm.
Like if you take a walk, and because your guides are with you all the time,
Yeah.
they don't take a
Yep.
break with you
Yep.
always. And so sometimes, if you're taking a walk, I know there have been times when I've been taking a walk and I'll burst out laughing, and I'm thinking, oh, I hope nobody sees me because I just heard something really funny. But yeah, so they're always there. They're always waiting
Love
and
it.
willing to help you. So I hope everyone
Oh,
takes advantage of
I
that.
love it. Such a beautiful, powerful message, Joanne. We
Thank
have
you.
about 2 minutes left. What last message do you want to share with everyone today?
I just want everyone to know that you're not alone, that there's always someone with, some energy with you that has been provided to you as a child of God, and that you can access that at any time. So don't ever feel like you have so many problems that you don't know where to go. If you've exhausted everything, if you've exhausted your friends, your family, your business colleagues, your teachers, whatever, go to Spirit. Spirit is there for you waiting, and you can have this ongoing conversation through soul writing. Do try it.
Oh, I love it. Oh, thank you so much. This is so powerful and inspirational, to realize what we have, and really how loved we are and cared and to have something which really you've made it very simple, the
Hmm.
soul writing, and then just letting go and open up to what is available to us. That's really huge, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Just think about what a world we'd have if everybody did it.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh, I love it. Oh, Joanne, thank you so much. This has been
Paula,
fantastic.
I've enjoyed it. Thank you for inviting me.
You are so welcome. Everyone, love, hugs, and blessings. Joanne, love, hugs, and blessings. Thank you
Thank
so,
you.
so much.